family of three has spent the last 301 days inside a nuclear bunker. Two fundamental rules have been instilled in Zoe throughout her life by her parents, Ray and Claire. She must always stay calm, and she must not leave the bunker. The unfortunate reality is that the world above them has been abandoned due to an unusual virus outbreak, and they're the only ones who have survived until now. Earth remains highly dangerous, even though it has been 301 days since the infection began. The pandemic has led to the emergence of terrifying creatures known as the Breathers, capable of killing any humans they encounter. This incident happened 301 days ago when it all began. At that time, they lived in a peaceful area, but everything changed when they noticed that their neighbors quickly packed their belongings and left the town. The neighbors not only refused to answer when asked what was happening, but they also left in a hurry. According to the information they gathered, a highly contagious virus outbreak had struck their small town. The residents abandoned their homes and drove on the highways to avoid infection. However, the Centers for Disease Control, or CDC, intervened during their escape and declared the area under lockdown. Once people got out of their vehicles, a pair of fighter jets launched a series of bombs toward them, attacking the terrified residents as they ran away in panic. Despite the chaos, Ray guided the family to an elementary school nearby. Just as the fighter jets dropped another bomb around them, they found a hole leading to a bunker and entered it. In the present, Zoe wakes up from a nightmare where the Breathers invade their shelter. The nightmare occurred some time ago, but her mother quickly reassures her that she is safe because her father is on guard, which calms her down with her words. Claire lets Zoe meet Ray, who has just returned from his watch, in an effort to reduce her anxiety. Ray gives Zoe further assurance that she is safe and then allows her to climb the ladder leading to the bunker's exit door. Zoe finds that the hatch is securely locked with chains when she reaches the top. Seeing this, Zoe, who was paranoid, feels reassured and joins her parents as they walk to the kitchen area of the bunker. Zoe and Claire perform their daily ritual of marking the wall to symbolize a new day in the bunker. After Zoe completes this task, she counts the marks on the wall and realizes they have spent a total of 301 days in a bunker alone. As a result of this realization, Zoe feels depressed because she does not have any friends her age and is tired of the miserable bunker life. While Claire searches the shelves for food, Zoe sits down to eat breakfast a few minutes later. Soon, they realize the container is completely empty. During her investigation, Claire discovers that a rat has gained access to the kitchen and consumed most of their canned food, reducing the supply they previously had. Upon further inspection, the family finds out that the rat has entered the bunker through a different hole in the main hatch. The rats manage to locate a small air duct, but Ray assures Zoe that the rats cannot enter through that duct. The family settles for a plate of beans for breakfast because they have few other options and no peaches left. Unhappy with the beans, Zoe pouts and picks at her plate. Frustrated with their condition, Zoe expresses her dissatisfaction with being trapped in the bunker. Ray understands his daughter's frustration and tries to comfort her, emphasizing the importance of staying in the bunker to protect themselves from the Breathers. After Ray tries to cheer her up with a joke, Zoe eventually calms down and resumes eating. When Zoe sits in another room at night, Ray joins her. Monopoly is the game they usually play together, but Zoe quickly loses interest and gets bored. Realizing this, Claire gives Zoe a periscope so she can look at the outside world. When Zoe looks through the device and sees the outside, she gets disappointed to find nothing but desert. After the brief demonstration, Zoe returns to the table to play Monopoly with Claire. While playing, Zoe spots a rat eating one of the cans, and she whispers to her mother to alert her. At one point, she also calls Ray, who is sleeping, to come to the kitchen, where they discuss the best way to get rid of the rat. After a lengthy process, Claire manages to kill the rat before it escapes. However, during the effort, the rat knocks over one of the lights, which explodes, causing a massive fire. While Ray runs to the pump to get water, Claire does not waste time and grabs a towel to try extinguishing the flames. As Claire yells at Ray for help, the faulty pump keeps malfunctioning, forcing him to struggle with the lever. Fortunately, Ray succeeds in fixing it just in time, and the two of them work together to put out the intense flames. After the fire is fully extinguished, the family discovers that the remaining smoke has entered the air vents and escaped to the surface. With this in mind, the family concludes that the Breathers might see the smoke above ground, and they decide to go up to cover their tracks. After instructing Zoe not to leave the shelter, the couple goes up to the surface to clear the remaining smoke. Zoe watches them through the periscope as they diligently clean the ground. At the same time, she spots a strange figure hiding behind her parents and quickly concludes that it is the breather. Zoe screams loudly to get their attention, but the couple, being quite far away, does not hear her. As Zoe rushes out to warn her parents about the beast hiding in the bushes, she disobeys their orders and opens the hatch, leaving the bunker. When Zoe steps outside, she cannot find anyone, so she calls out their names while searching for them everywhere she can. Claire suddenly appears behind Zoe and covers her mouth to stop her ongoing cries. When Claire finally releases Zoe, the little girl expresses her concern to the couple about the strange creature she saw standing behind them. After learning this, the three of them rush toward the open hatch and head back into the bunker. The first thing the family hears as they approach the bunker is the sound of a bear's footsteps walking above ground. They all listen in fear to the footsteps on the roof, so they remain silent to avoid being detected. Zoe's doll makes a noise when its string gets tangled in a nearby pipe, just as the sound of footsteps starts to fade. Ray, horrified by the sounds the doll creates, quickly grabs the toy and destroys it to prevent the monster from being attracted to it. However, the breathers hear the doll sound and violently strike the hatch to get into the underground shelter. But it is already too late. As Ray and Claire climb the ladder and see what is happening, they manage to block the door. As a result, they succeed in stopping the monster from invading the area. Claire and Ray go down the ladder and approach Zoe as all of them breathe a sigh of relief. This happens when no further noise is detected. However, it is only temporary because the sounds from above the roof continue to increase. As a result, it becomes clear that more of the breathers have arrived. The breathers begin to destroy the hatch with hammers, so the family tries to hold it back, but the breathers eventually break through. Seeing this, the three of them run frantically into another room to escape. A fire breaks out due to Claire's decision to drag a lamp down the corridor to buy time, causing a flame to ignite. She then uses a bookshelf to block the path, and Ray does the same. After doing this, they immediately start looking for an alternate escape route and eventually choose to exit through the ventilation. Claire squeezes through the narrow gap and emerges on the other side with Ray's help. Once Claire reaches the surface, she scans the area and, to her relief, does not find any of the breathers. Claire quickly sends this information to Ray, who, after hearing it, helps Zoe get through the vent as well. Ray tries to climb up after the mother and daughter make it through, but he cannot fit through the gap. So Ray is forced to break a bone first and tries to join the group by adjusting himself. However, the breathers manage to break through the defense and attack the wounded man, beating him inside the bunker before he can get out of the building. Claire and Zoe are shocked when they see blood splatter as they look down, and they come to the conclusion that Ray has died. After a brief moment to express their grief, the two of them run across the dark highway and eventually arrive at a road filled with empty cars. A helicopter with bright searchlights suddenly lights up the sky, so the two of them immediately flee in the opposite direction after seeing it. However, they do not get far before being caught by a net that has been fired in front of them. The breathers emerge from the shadows and surround them as they struggle to escape the net. When the breathers are visible in their eyes, it turns out that the breathers are not terrifying monsters at all, but rather armed soldiers wearing full protective face masks. In an incident that happened 301 days ago, we witnessed Claire and her family fleeing right after the jet strike. Claire discovers a wound on her hand while inside the bunker, and she shows it to her family as her hand turns black, an indication that she is infected. After seeing this, the family concludes that the virus spreads through the air and has already spread throughout the city at that time. Now we return to the present, where the armed men ask the two to stay calm, while they quickly pull out a needle to test for the virus. While the soldiers draw blood from the survivors, they realize that both of them are already infected. Upon learning this, the soldiers surround them with guns and prepare to shoot. But before they pull the trigger, one of the soldiers' necks starts bleeding, caused by Ray, who is transformed into a zombie-like being with red eyes and dark veins. He attacks the soldiers with superhuman strength, and during the fight, he manages to take down several of them. However, in the end, he is killed by another group of soldiers who shoot him. At this point, we are presented with a shocking discovery about the virus's true nature. Although the breathers appear to be normal people, they are actually the infected ones. Though contagious, the virus does not have fatal effects. The infected can live nearly normal lives, as long as they remain calm. The reason Ray and Claire emphasize the importance of staying calm at the beginning of the movie now becomes clear. It is proven that those infected can lose control of their emotions and transform into monsters. On the other hand, if they maintain their composure when they turn, they can revert back to their human form gradually. The unfortunate reality is that this does not eliminate the possibility that they are infected, and the soldiers intend to eliminate all of them. After their encounter with Ray ends, the soldiers turn their attention back to the net, only to discover that Claire and Zoe have escaped. Moments later, Zoe hides in a vehicle, while Claire undergoes the same transformation into a zombie-like state and takes down 3 of the 4 remaining soldiers. However, the last soldier manages to shoot her and wound her. Zoe, now also transformed, dies at the arm man just as he prepares to fire a fatal shot. She then removes the man's face mask, exposing him to the virus. In the end, it is Claire who stops Zoe from carrying out her plan to kill the soldier. As they continue their search for Ray, the 2 of them leave him behind and start walking down the highway. From a short distance away, they say their final goodbye to Ray, and he is finally gone, with no hope of survival. Soon after, Claire and Zoe notice a helicopter approaching. Seeing this, they run toward an underground tunnel hidden behind a pile of broken wood. During their attempt to enter the tunnel, they come face to face with a child, who turns out to be the son of their former neighbor. When the child opens the hatch, he discovers that there's a waste disposal system underneath. There are more infected survivors who have lived under the city's sewage system for several months, as Claire and Zoe find out after entering the building. The mother and daughter feel relieved to know that there are others in the same situation as them. Almost immediately after Zoe descends into the hatch, Claire follows and joins the crowd that welcomes them. The movie ends with Claire staring into the light with red eyes. And finally, she closes the hatch above her head. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification so you don't miss the latest recaps. Thanks for watching and wish you good health.